What's happening, everybody? So, we're about a week away from the Demon being released at the New York Auto Show, and it got me to thinking a little bit about what that car is going to mean to the brand of Dodge, to Mopar fans in general, and where do we go from here as Mopar enthusiasts? So, to look at what that car would mean just as a brand, it basically positions Dodge as the bully on the block. I mean, this is our super stock Dodge, in other words, from the 60s era of muscle car, when the super stock Dodge was the king of drag strips and streets around the nation, provided you could find one, as far as a factory-built drag race specific hot rod. That is the Demon. It is being marketed specifically towards grassroots drag racing enthusiasts. Although it's a little bit difficult to call it grassroots drag racing enthusiasts, considering what the cost of that thing's probably going to be. I'm going to guess around 90 grand. Whoa, talk about expensive, but especially when you consider that a Hellcat with just a few mods will probably be just as quick. But that's really not the point of that car. That car is a flagship halo car that represents the attitude and aggression of the Dodge brand and of the Mopar brand in general. So take that a little bit further though. Look at it like this. Yeah, the fact that that car is going to drive sales, not necessarily for the Demon, but because of the image that it's projecting, it will drive foot traffic. And I think that's really the main focus and idea of that car. Sure, you might not be going to the Dodge dealership to buy a Demon, but you might pick up a Hellcat, or maybe an SRT Challenger, or a Scat Pack Charger, something along those lines. That is really what the basis of that car is. It's showing that Dodge is not going to just simply settle for being, first place with the Hellcat there for a while. They want to set a benchmark that is going to be practically untouchable for the other manufacturers to touch. Pretty cool. I mean, this is enthusiasts running engineering. This is fun being engineered, more or less. I guess you could call it that. I mean, as long as those fun engineering parts will transfer over to maybe a more pedestrian car like an SRT Challenger. See, here are my thoughts on that. It doesn't do me a lot of good as a Mopar fan if the Demon is out there, especially considering it's a Challenger. Yeah, I might not be able to buy that car, but what I'm hoping is that the day after that thing is released, the newest Mopar catalog opens up, and every lightweight component that goes on that Demon is transferable over to maybe my SRT, or your Scat Pack, or whichever other Challenger you've got. That's what I'm hoping that car will represent, is not only a flagship car for Mopar to set the attitude and to become that bully on the block once again like they did with the Hellcat, but to also offer up to other enthusiasts factory parts that might help to lighten this thing up a little bit. Maybe take it down a notch or two, maybe 50 or 100 pounds in weight reduction. It would certainly go a long way with me. I mean, it would be cool to be able to go to, a Dodge dealership, order up some, lightweight insert part here, throw it on the car, and at least have that type of a performance gain that I can enjoy with mine. If it doesn't really translate over that well into the other cars though, in other words, like, the SRTs or the Scat Packs or the RTs, if it doesn't translate over to those cars though, at least within some semblance of affordability as well. I mean, don't fleece us. I mean, for crying out loud. Just because we're not buying the Demon doesn't mean that we're not flying the Mopar flag just as high. That's my hope for the car. And I'm not really worried about what it runs in the quarter mile. I know it's going to be fast, but I don't know, Tesla much? That's the creepy part of it. No matter how fast that Demon is, it's got cars like the Tesla or the S7 that it's going to be going up against. It's going to have a target on its back the size of a freaking dartboard. And the issue is not that will the car be able to compete, it's how badly will it beat those cars. I mean, the last thing you want to do is take your Demon to a drag strip and have, the golf cart from hell show up and show you its taillights for the first half of the track. Kind of difficult to call it a Demon in that respect, isn't it? So yeah, I've got my reservations a little bit for the car, just in terms of, yeah, we know it's going to be fast, it's going to turn a great quarter mile time, but I don't want to get my hopes up just yet. There are established, very strong running cars in the quarter mile that could easily give that Demon a run for its money. Take, for example, the Z06. That thing is no slouch. And on a tire, that thing's easily a 1060 car. You might want to take that into account. It's not uncommon for the P100D in super ludicrous mode, or whatever it is, to turn out 1050s in the quarter mile. And yeah, I know you've got to bring a power station with you to recharge it, but that's really not the point. The point is that if that car shows up to the drag strip, it had better be kicking ass, and it had better be deep into the tens, well enough to at least shoo off whatever flies may be running its way, because I guarantee you this, there is not one Hellcat owner worth his salt that is not going to be sniping after every single Demon that he sees. So, Mopar, glad you did it. Can't wait to see the car and get the specs. I only hope that the parts that you're offering that are lightweight will fit on my SRT, because I have a feeling I will be, if those parts are available, I'll be coming home with a crate in the back of my truck ready to throw them on this car. And if the car does well enough in the quarter mile, I'm hoping that the car doesn't get lost in translation when you start comparing it with other cars and other modded cars that are out there. Keep in mind, this is a factory-built car with factory tuning that has to pass factory emission standards. I only wonder if, once tuners get a hold of that car, aftermarket starts throwing different exhaust on it, different options for pulley swaps and things like that, if it is going to actually be able to stack up mod for mod with a stock Hellcat. Can't wait to see the results. Post up what you guys think about that thing. That's a wrap. Adios.